Hey YouTube, Jedi Fuka here, and today's video I wanted to go over a few of the epic heroes for this pack we have right now. So if you guys go into the store, there is a $1 pack in here for epic heroes selectable chest. This is really good if you are a low spender or even a free to play and you just want to show the devs that you appreciate their hard work. This is a really good pack to pick up, guys. Especially if you don't have all the epic heroes. So I want to go through some of these real quick and put out my recommendations for ones that if you don't have, you should consider getting. So starting with the fire heroes here, if you don't have Dane, I would highly recommend looking into him. His A3 ability here, we have an attack penalty down, but he also will take off 2 debuffs from the enemies. So this is really good. I use Dane even in my in-game teams. A few areas that he excels in is going to be Grave of Curse, taking the debuffs off the boss, also giving the attack penalty down 1. Now attack penalty down 2 is way better, but because you're getting the debuff removal, it's still a little extra utility with him in there. And then an Ancient Battlefield, he's really good. I use him in there in my in-game team for removing debuffs off the boss in there. Highly recommend Dane. Also for him, if you don't have him, he's really good to put in a stun set. Use him in the Feywilds or use him in the tower. Let's go check out the name of the tower real quick. I forget the name. So right over here in the Pillar of Trial tower, he's really good in there for the wave content. You put him in a stun set or something like that, and he just helps you take out those enemies. So highly recommend keep an eye on Dane if you don't have him. For the rest of the fire units, there are some other decent ones to look at, like Tunnel in here. However, I recommend getting the support heroes with this, so people who are going to really be able to be used in all content and push your account a little bit further, which is why if you don't have Dane, I would prioritize him. Getting into the ice champions, definitely Voresh is going to be the #1 pick in here. He is possibly the best epic in the game. He has this AoE hit, he does tons of damage, he brings heals to all of your team, and then he also does a buff prohibition. I use him in pretty much all content in the game. Anywhere where you're struggling with, he's going to help you with. If you don't have him, he should probably be your #1 pick, somewhere between him and maybe Furbath. I'm getting into the necro healers or the necro champions. There's no one in here that I would specifically call out that you really should get. If you have all the other S tier epics and you still want to get this, then that's when I would come into here and maybe getting someone like Questa. She's a really good champion, especially for that Pillar of Trial. Or Thea, she's really good for Grave of Rot. So if you're needing to fill in a dungeon spot, those are ones to consider, but I would definitely look towards some of these SS tier epics first. Getting into Radiant, there's 2 in here that I would highly recommend that you guys look at. One is Catherine. I use Catherine and I do use her in every area of the game, but mostly because I'm using a Radiant Dauntless team, but you can use her in almost every area in any team for any stage of the game up through late game. Her A3 here not only has her heal, but you get a debuff immunity. This is absolutely amazing for Vortex boss, because once you get to stage 4 and he drops that decreased defense, she can just go in there, prevent you from ever taking decreased defense while healing your team. She is definitely S tier for Pillar of Trials. She's S tier for literally all content in the game as a healer. So if you're needing a good healer and you don't have Catherine, I highly recommend picking her. Now if you're needing a good tank, Garius is another one to consider. You get a tank / heal. I don't have him, so I can't compare him to Furbath, but to me they might be kind of similar in what they can do. The difference is he does a straight heal where Furbath does a continuous Nexus heal for your melee people up close. I'm not sure which one's going to be better. This is probably who I'm going to get because I don't have him, but he dispels all buffs off of himself, heals the entire team, and he's a tank, so he's going to hold that front line for you. So if you're looking for something in the Radiant options, Catherine and Garius are definitely your best ones. Now for me, because I use Catherine so much, if I had to pick between the 2 of them, I would probably still be wanting her, but I can't say for sure because I haven't tried Garius out yet. My account's not lacking in tanks, but it was lacking in healers when I got her. and she to me is like an epic version of Gillian. She doesn't do the defense up, but she prevents you from taking debuffs while still giving good heals. Definitely one that I would be considering. From the lightning heroes here, there's no one in here that I would say is like super S tier that you absolutely need to get. If you're like just trying to fill out a team, then of course come here if you already have those other S tier champions. Otherwise, I would skip that unless you're looking for someone particular to fill out your team. Your poison champions, Furbath is definitely one that you should be looking at. Furbath here, he's one that I use in all in-game content as well. So even as someone who played all the way through Season 0, I still use Furbath a ton. His amazing heal plus that attack penalty too. I've literally used him in all Stage 9 dungeons at one point or another. Now that I'm getting better gear, I'm starting to switch my teams up to try to push my times down. But prior to trying to optimize my teams, just pushing content and then being able to do Stage 9 content, Furbath is definitely like the best epic, along with Voresh for doing that. So guys, just real quick review. For my personal opinion, if you don't have them, either Furbath or Voresh, if you don't have one of those two, they should probably be your first pick. Now going on to, actually I almost forgot one character, Vikuk here. I use him a ton too. He's an amazing healer, and we get this debuff cleanse. You get to take off 2 debuffs. It also adds extra heal if you do that. If you are struggling in Grave of Rot, consider picking this guy up. I use him in my Grave of Rot Stage 9 team, and him combined with the rare Sigrid that everyone knows about, they're literally the staple of the team. Without those two, I wouldn't be doing Stage 9. So highly recommend him if you're trying to push Grave of Rot. When you guys are going to pick out your character, look at your dungeon, see which one you're struggling the most in, and maybe pick someone who's going to help you to push that content. If you don't have Furbath, he's going to help you push every dungeon. If you don't have Voresh, he can also help you push every dungeon. He's very good, especially in Grave of Curse. Grave of Rot, he helps because he gets you those extra heals, but really in all dungeons and all your weekly stuff, the purple dragon, green dragon, Voresh is going to be a good option. So if you don't have Furbath or Voresh, look at them first. Next after that, if you have those two, I would consider Dane, especially for Grave of Curse, but he's able to be utilized in all content in the game. And then sometimes, we get focused on the dungeons and we forget about like Feywilds and Pillar of Trials, but Dane is amazing in those areas, especially with stun sets, so don't overlook him. But really, I guess that's all I would say for that. There are other epics that are really good. If you have all of the ones that I've talked about, then go and look at some of those to fill in. If I wasn't looking at getting Garius, I'd probably get Adolphus here. I see him in some in-game teams for his shield. So definitely other ones to pick, but if you were trying to push content and this is your first season, make sure you're picking one of those S tier epics. That's all I have. Y'all have a good day.